We're here in beautiful Monterey, California, a perfect setting for a first look at the new S63 AMG 4MATIC. The S63 being the flagship of the AMG line, I mean the S-Class of course is the quintessential Mercedes-Benz. And with this latest generation, AMG has taken it really one step further by using lightweight design, unbelievable amounts of power, but also giving you efficiency. I think that when you look at the S63, you're going to see that the design changes that have been done for the AMG model are a lot more subtle than they might be on other models. And it's kind of that you don't want to take perfection and modify it too much. So the changes are subtle. From the belt line down is where most of the changes are. When you first walk up on the S63, you can see that big lower chin spoiler and the large air intakes, and then these small flicks which direct cold air into the coolers up front. You already know that you're dealing with a monster, you know, under this beautiful sheet of aluminum. And when you start to look around the side, you see the brake rotors. And these are details that come straight from a motorsports program. So the brake rotors in the S63 are two-piece. And the reason for that is you can actually reduce weight. And when you reduce weight that's spinning out on the wheels, that means that now you can increase performance as it goes dynamically over bumps or as you turn the steering wheel in. And it's those little things that add up to the whole. And when you look at the fit and finish, it's all about the details. Performance is not just about adding power and speed. It's about reducing weight, because when you reduce weight, it's almost like you added additional power. And that's done using new materials and new technologies. So by skinning the car in aluminum, you've shaved weight out of it. By doing technologies such as lithium-ion battery, you've reduced the weight because you no longer have to have two different batteries in the car. Even details down to the spare tire tub where the spare tire sits is actually in carbon fiber on the S63. And all of these lead up to having 220 pounds shaved off of it versus the outgoing model. I think what sets the new S63 apart is power delivery. The S63 is powered by the M157 engine, which is a 5.5 liter bi-turbo. This engine has been greatly successful, but here it's uprated to 577 horsepower and 664 pound-feet of torque. That takes this new S63 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds, making it the fastest full-size luxury sedan out on the marketplace. And when you remove weight from that, you increase the ability of the vehicle to be more dynamic. The 5.5 liter bi-turbo engine follows the same philosophy of all of the other AMG engines, one man, one engine. This means that a singular technician takes this engine from a bare casting and walks around the entire production floor adding all of the components, and when they're done, they add a plaque to the top of it which bears their signature. Now you have somebody who's responsible for everything from the beginning to the end. And it also gives it kind of a soul, almost a personality. And this is one of those things of where our customers really like that, because a signature means that I validate that this car is as good as it can be. It's the best or nothing. Because the S-Class is a flagship ultra-luxury vehicle, you want to be able to show the amount of power, and part of that power is the exhaust note. I mean, AMG is famous for their exhaust, with that quad tip exhaust, the beautiful sound that comes out of that engine. But you don't want it to be overbearing. So with the S63, what's new for it is it actually has a variable vane inside of the exhaust system. Based upon the load, it can manipulate the exhaust sound coming out the back. So when you're cruising on the highway, you have a nice mellow tone that lets you know that you have an engine that is of performance. But when you put that foot to the floor, it opens up wide and gives you the full exhaust note, and not only you, but everyone else knows that that's an AMG. One of the new innovations for the S63 is AMG Performance 4MATIC, which is entirely new for the S-Class. And this now takes that amazing amount of power that comes out of that engine and puts it to all four wheels. But the bias is a little bit different than what you'd expect with a traditional 4MATIC system. We bias it more to the rear of the car, so it's only running 33% of the power up to the front and 67% to the rear, which gives the car the feeling of being a rear-wheel drive vehicle. But by having that power delivery to the front, it pulls the car out of turns and allows you to use a lot more of that power in more circumstances than you might have been able to with just a rear-wheel drive car. Because this is an entirely new platform using high-strength steels, aluminums, forged wheels, it's a far more dynamic car. And with that, we can take things such as the suspension system and have active curve dynamics, which allow essentially it's torque vectoring. So utilizing the car systems and the braking system of the car, we can actually brake the inside wheel on a turn and makes the car turn better. So you have this system which is completely transparent to the user, but they get the result of having a car that turns and corners better. It really gives a level of refinement and performance that can't be had anywhere else. With the S63, I mean, it is a full-size, ultra-luxury vehicle that's also a performance vehicle. You want to have performance and you want to be able to carve the asphalt, but you also know that this is a full-on luxury vehicle. So in order to do that, we have active dampening. And what this is a system of shock absorbers that are computer controlled. And utilizing the data from the vehicle, where the positioning is, how fast you're driving, the angle of steering wheel, it can then manipulate how stiff or how soft the shocks happen to be. So if you're driving through nice undulating country roads, you have a beautiful lofty suspension which cushions everything. But when you really want to get aggressive, all you have to do is drive aggressive and the car becomes as aggressive as you are. Within the whole S-Class category, S63 included, there's a whole host of intelligent drive features. From passive lane keeping assist, which alerts you that you're actually going to depart the lane using a series of cameras and sensors. It vibrates the steering wheel and lets you know. But in the active mode, it will actually steer the car back onto the pavement by utilizing one of the braking calipers. Along the same lines that with Distronic Plus, it will actually steer for you around curves. From an automation standpoint, it's running the braking, it's running the acceleration, it can run the steering. So it allows you to relax a little bit more and probably experience a little bit more than you would when you're focused on some of the other details when you're caught in traffic. I think that when you first take a seat in an S63 and you take a deep breath and you smell Napa leather, that's just an experience that it's really hard to put your finger on until you actually do it. And you realize that there's leather everywhere. It gives the customer the ability to change between 5 different colors, 2 different types of stitching, where you can have this beautiful perforations on the dash and wonderful water flow lines that come down the seats and stitching. Choose from 5 different types of trim. And then you go into the configurations possible inside of the car itself. So once you go into the instrument cluster, you can configure the ambient color inside of the car, the intensity of it. You can set the vents to exactly what you would like to have, and including the air freshener system, where you can choose one of 4 different signature scents that could be piped through the air conditioning to really customize this vehicle and make it more your own. To take a vehicle and deliver this level of technology, this level of refinement, it's almost as if you're reinventing the automobile by the people who actually invented the automobile. It's not an iteration, it's not a facelift. This is an all-new S-Class, and that's something to celebrate. We hope you've enjoyed this exclusive look of the all-new S63 AMG 4MATIC, a product which exemplifies our axiom of the best or nothing.